I cut every one of these from a big roll. They have to be kind of micro-fitted. Every single square has to be fitted to and recut, and then I glue them. I've been commissioned by the Racine Art Museum to do a project in their windows. Since the museum opened a few years ago, they've been giving this project to artists to fill those windows any way they want for 1 year. My basic idea was to do window treatments that evoke the design of the 20s and 30s, the kinds of window backgrounds for merchandise in that period. My title is going to be Window Dressing. It all started because I had a book. Only displaymen with vision will be interested in this advertisement. It's called The Manual of Show Window Backgrounds for Mercantile Display. And it had these wonderful backgrounds and ideas for window displays for merchandise. In addition, here's another one. In addition, I found tons and tons of other wonderful, wonderful, wonderful sources like this that, I'm not using now, but I'm sure that, eventually they'll be used in some way. My work has been influenced a lot by that period from the, the Deco period. So then, I had this idea of placing one sculpture in front of each of those backgrounds. I mean, I'm thinking of this as a real correlation between the sculpture and the background. I always thought of my sculptures as individual pieces, maybe put into an exhibit in a gallery. And I liked seeing them as almost a gathering at a party, just with these people. But there might be a situation where a sculpture would be placed where it wouldn't have the atmosphere that I would really want for it. I have no control once it's in someone else's hands. So maybe that's why I'm so excited about this too. I have complete control over how I want the sculpture to be seen. I'm trying to decide whether to go with red here or black. It's tough because they both look good. There isn't a real right answer for it because they both work. So a lot of times I have to remember what my initial feeling was because that's usually the right one. And hopefully if it works for me, it'll work for the viewer. That's all I can count on. The other big decision is I feel now that I look at the piece that these aren't necessary actually. There's just so much going on. And this whole thing started from a photo I took of some gratings in a subway station in New York, a very Deco kind of grating. Also on this same trip to New York, I happened to see the chairs that I took pictures of. Again, it's that kind of early modernism, a simplicity of form, not overly decorative, just a clarity, a real clarity that's important. Why a shape is interesting to somebody is something that is very deep-rooted, I think. And in one's work, certain shapes keep revealing themselves, even though the work changes quite a bit. I've been interested in clothing, sections of clothing as architecture, a long time. This also comes in this color. These are other samples from the antique wallpaper linoleum place. I called him up to find out what the scale was, and he told me that it's 5 inches from here to here. But then he finally sent, I got a sample of it. Another paper that I traced from the wallpaper book. It was too busy. I mean, these were all possibilities at one time. See all these little dots? I mean, if it was a line, I wouldn't have liked it. The reason I liked the paper was for the little dots. Now, the dots were like a cream, like you couldn't even see it. It was so barely discernible. And I wanted this kind of a gold color to stand out more. I mean, it was just, you couldn't even see the pattern. So I found the right color pen and did the dots over it. Dot, 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 dot. The reason I think that I am attracted to this pattern is that it's something very deep inside. I grew up with some linoleum in the late 30s and early 40s. And right here, this is my mother sitting at her kitchen table. Here's the linoleum. This same linoleum I found on the floor of a closet in my attic in this house that I'm living in now. And I realized that it would be perfect for this sculpture, which is all wrapped up right now, but here's this other linoleum. So it's that geometric, see, this is probably a hand stenciled kind of a thing, and that paper has that same feeling. There's a little sort of a hand-done look to it, and I guess I'm just very attracted to the geometry. The depth of the space is actually this depth, which is only 3 feet. And my sculptures are all pretty narrow. I mean, there's a matter of 7 inches, say, with this piece, 7 inches depth. A lot of my pieces are more about the front and the back than they are in the round. So, you know, in some ways, this is the perfect opportunity for me. I worked on the models for a long time, you know, every little detail. Scanning the materials, reducing them to an 1/8 scale, gluing them together. I mean, I had to go through that whole process, and because how else could I have really, you know, seen what I was going to do? And I was shocked when I really started putting them together, really very recently. You know, it was like, oh my God, they're big. They're really big.
What's your head?